Well, hello everyone and welcome back. It's the Dota 2 Asia Championships 2015 with a prize pool of absurd amounts of sweet money. What, $2.3 and $4 million up for grabs with some of the best, the world's best Dota players. And well, we got a matchup for you here. We're in our second heat, and it's going to be HGT team taking on Tongfu over here on BTS2. Of course, we're bringing you the English coverage. I myself, KotLGuy, with a nice ringer of co-casters, all extremely dapper and handsome today. I got Mr. F4L Dota, and let me tell you, he is so amped up for this game. HGT team and Tongfu, he has told me, is his top two. He's probably wearing his Tongfu jersey right now. F4L, tell me how amped you are right now.
Dire team pick.
You are so amped you can't even say anything.
Dude, I'm
it's
just
okay.
speechless right now. I mean, that's how excited I am.
The presence of legends. ZSMJ. Respect your elders. Respect your elders.
Double. I mean, maybe we're going to see the ZSMJ Medusa get those double rapiers.
Oh, my God. We could be in for history. Oh, I'm excited.
History could repeat itself. I mean, that is the meta game. You know, Shadow Fiend Medusa, very popular. That was basically when ZSMJ was at his heyday, playing for LGD all those years ago. But HGT team going to first pick the Axe Vengeful Spirit up against Tongfu Shadow Fiend Witch Doctor. Not too many surprises here early in this draft. And what do you think about these two teams? Who do you think is the favorite?
You know what? I really wouldn't even bet on this match. I would almost put it at 50-50. Did you look at the Dota 2 Lounge yet? I'm going to look at it right here.
10 seconds remaining.
So we got Tongfu. You know what? It's 47-53. So
all right.
I'm smart. I'm smart.
So smart.
I mean, so with that, I wouldn't bet on this match. Either of these teams could upset anyone, I'd say, in this tournament. You got to remember, Tongfu came out of their qualifier of that very talented pool of players and teams with the best record, above like Big God, above all the others, even HGT team. So they have taken easily a lot of wins off some of the best out there. HGT team, you could say the same exact thing. So it's just a matter of which HGT team we're going to see and which Tongfu team we're going to see, because they can be also pretty hot and cold.
Tongfu have more upside with their roster than HGT team do, I would say. HGT team, you know, a lot of these players have been around the scene for a long time. None of them, you know, they've mostly just been on tier 2 teams, but I think Tongfu has a bit more upside to them. Kabu, you know, a famous player from, I believe, a lot of these players actually from Rattlesnake Int. I believe Kabu as well as Icy on the other team both played on that team. Who else was on that team? It was like Lanem and...
Yeah, that's the one I knew.
A couple other players. I think even maybe...
Winter? No.
Turn to ban.
Johnny was on the newer Rattlesnake. That's all.
Was LPC on the old Rattlesnake? Possibly, but... Anyway, a lot of these players have been around the scene for a long time on tier 2, what most people would consider tier 2 Chinese teams.
Absolutely. And, well, for their early portion of this draft, we already got some action here. We get to see the Axe. We get to see the Dunks side by side with none other than Vengeful Spirit. And for Tongfu, the precious Shadow Fiend, which has quickly become first pick, first ban worthy, is going to be grabbed up and on the what I would imagine be more favored Radiant side of that. So now they follow it and they get their Witch Doctor. Pretty basic at the start, a little bit of red and a little bit of blue.
Yeah, Shadow Fiend, you know, it's a bit easier to pull off on the Radiant, or execute rather, but I think it's pickable on both sides. On Radiance, it's a bit easier if you start losing. If you're getting ganked a lot, well, first of all, it's harder to get ganked on the Radiant side because you can just sit on the right side of the cliff or of your hill. Very difficult to get smoke ganked from that position, and you can always retreat into the jungle much easier on the Radiant side. And Tongfu actually going for a Darkseer.
This is interesting. Right in the middle of the draft.
Not a hero we see too often. A lot of times when we see the Darkseer getting picked off, it's used in sort of that aggressive dual lane type situation.
Maybe they feel like Darkseer's the answer for Axe in the laning phase. They're like, I'm going to throw down some freaking ion shells. What's he going to do about that, huh? You think you're going to just walk up and hit him and spin? Ion shells are deceptive, man. They'll do a lot of work on any sort of melee core. Watch out.
Yeah, they definitely... the damage can pile up 30 damage a second. You can get it on 2 units at level 1, so it can do up to
It's,
60
Serve time.
damage. at
usually
level
easy
1.
farm, unless they're quick with their denies. You'll be guaranteed maybe a little penny here and there, which is better than some offlaners can say. Sometimes when they struggle, they get nothing. Now you do risk pushing out the lane, but at least you get a little bit of something. But hey, I do have your answer, by the way, for the old Rattlesnake team. It's
Okay.
Icy,
Team
Luo, Lanham, Kabu, and Fan. So I've seen a couple of those names already, but
Hmm.
yeah,
I thought Icy was on one of those. Maybe he was on a different iteration. So they've had all of these teams. They have a lot of roster changes in the East. Well, I mean, every region does, but it's a bit easier to keep track of the Western ones since there's a bit more exposure. And they end up. We didn't really talk about Darkseer, Witch Doctor. It used to be a classic combination. You have the Maledict as well as the cast to follow up onto the Vacuum. Can set up some pretty huge combos.
oh
You're going to have the Queen of Pain as well, so a lot of AoE damage coming out with this Darkseer.
Vacuum into
10
Maledict,
seconds
and then
remaining.
Shadow Fiend fucking slams down that R button. We could see the
5
most
seconds
epic,
remaining.
epic stuff here. Dunks flying in left, right, and center. Bears getting slaughtered.
Reserve
I'm hoping
time.
for this right now. We've been overdue for some serious spice in our Dota, and I'm feeling it right here. I'm feeling it here with Tongfu.
The
Hyperglory
Wombo,
team.
the Wombo
The
combo
Wombo
from Tongfu.
combo. Oh yeah. So Queen of Pain, picked up here, has actually been picked up quite frequently. Actually, I want to see the actual numbers. I've seen it. This must be like my 3rd Queen of Pain. Well, in day 2 she was 21st, so that's not a whole lot, but at least it's a couple of games. Day 1, it's even worse. I guess I was the only guy who was blessed with seeing some Queen of Pain, apparently. But that new long-range blink certainly does make it nice in the early part of the game on being able to get away, and her newly found Scream of
Tongfu's turn
Pain
to
is
ban.
going to be going through magic immunity. So that could be pretty potent here.
Yeah, the Sonic Wave doing pure damage now. You know, the biggest change to her kit in this version, it does 290 pure
10
damage at level
seconds
1, which is
remaining.
very significant. Gonna eat through, you know, I mean,
5
that's
seconds
it's half
remaining.
the HP of any of these support heroes at level 6. So Quap doing considerable damage. You
Reserve
still have,
time.
you know, similar issues with Queen of Pain that you've always had. You have to use the blink to get off all your spells, and then it's all about if you can survive that initial blink and get out, then the hero can start snowballing, but if you're unable to survive after you cast your spells, that's sort of where the hero falters a little bit.
Wasn't there murmurs of a support Queen of Pain already? Could this
Oh,
be
yeah,
a
I
support Queen of
heard-
Pain? I mean,
it
where's
could
she
be-
going to
I
go?
heard- Well, I mean, it could also be a support Darkseer. Like I talked about, they've been like I've seen Darkseer used a couple of
Dire
times in a
team
dual
back.
lane off lane situation. So you pick another melee strength hero, and then you just put the Ion Shell. I saw it with a Juggernaut recently. So they would just Ion Shell the Juggernaut, haste him around, and then he would just start spinning with the Ion Shell on him. So it'd be like that
10
double
seconds
DPS.
remaining.
But, you know, it'll be interesting to
5
see. We could also
seconds
just see a
remaining.
Quap mid and a Shadow Fiend safe lane.
Yeah, that's true. That's the safe way, I guess. But we'll see. Maybe we'll get
Reserve
something special.
time.
But sorry to break your heart. It looks like your precious Z-God's Medusa has been banned. So we're not going to get
no.
our double rapier fun time. The one
That's
that
okay.
the
Maybe
people always
maybe
talk
we'll
about.
get the Phantom Lancer,
Radiant team
get his rapier denied, and then he'll get a new one.
Well, hopefully once the new terrible PL comes into captain's mode. maybe we
Oh
get
yeah,
the
I
opportunity.
forgot that hero's not even in captain.
It won't ever be the same, unfortunately, as far as
Jesus.
PL
Hey.
goes.
I mean, you wouldn't even ever buy a Radiance on the new ones, so.
No, certainly
Oh
not.
well. Gone are the days of the
Enigma.
split pushing
Dire team
not
pick.
Terrorblade, Phantom Lancer. Actually, a last pick Enigma, so a very interesting draft. Huge wombo combo possibility
This
from
is
Tongfu. Now
ridiculous.
I mean, just look at how many ults they have.
Mid
all
lane
of these
Rubik,
heroes.
something, grab it now. Who cares if you already have your
Honestly,
supports?
Rubik
Get a
could
Rubik
have
anyways.
A fantastic game. Unlikely though. Needing that carry hero. Although they
10
could still
seconds
put
remaining.
Brewmaster in the safe lane and possibly get a carry mid.
5
Okay,
seconds
so what can we
remaining.
do? There's priority for law initiation. What about something like a mid lane Venomancer? Wouldn't that be
Reserve
fun?
time.
Maybe a little bit of that poison
I
out
mean,
there.
it
The
could be
wards could
decent
be a
to
nuisance.
cancel the blink
Oh.
daggers, but they're gonna go with the hard carry anti-mage.
Oh,
Although Anti-Mage is pretty susceptible to these big ultimates if he gets vacuum walled into a black hole. His illusion, I
And
mean,
a
he's just gonna
requiem
kill
with a scream
himself.
of pain.
I mean, they have a lot of tools, honestly, to deal with this Anti-Mage. Sure, they don't have the greatest disables in their early game. You know, there's no hexes, silences, and the longest stun that they have is the Witch Doctor and Enigma stuns. The longest they ever get is 1 second. So he's going to be able to blink out of those quite easily in the early game, but the black hole is always going to be a threat.
I'm telling you, dude, I'm looking at Tongfu's lineup, and
battle.
it screams noob from UA. I'm feeling the video. It's going to be coming. These guys have got to be dishing out some serious heat in these team fights. At least I'm hoping for it right now. But let's get things underway. This is our second heat of 9 best of 1s that's going to be happening here for the Dota Asian Championships. Lots of money on the line here as we're making our way through almost the halfway point of the group stages. It's going to be Hyperglory team taking on Tongfu, and I'll go ahead and introduce your Hyperglory team squad. Pretty Ha here is going to be playing the pretty boy Skywrath Mage as he will plant down this sentry. Pulls on back next to Icy, who's going to be playing your Axe. We got Air playing his signature Brewmaster. Respect this guy. This guy has set the standard for brew play for quite a while. KotLGuy going to be throwing out the Magic Missile on their Vengeful Spirit, and they're going to go ahead and get the easy first blood. And that is how it's done, folks. Hyperglory team are going to walk away with that one. ZSMJ is going to be playing the Anti-Mage. Wow, that was pretty snappy.
For Tongfu, on the Radiant side, we're going to have Jin Q, unfortunately going down there on the Queen of Pain, giving up the first blood. Kabu is going to be handling the jungle Enigma. LPC on the support Witch Doctor. In the mid lane, we're going to have U9 playing the Shadow Fiend. And then,
The battle begins.
not sure how you say this Darkseer's name.
Do your best. I want to hear it.
Quan, I think, on the Darkseer.
Uh-oh, U9 could be in trouble. He is body blocked and put in a sandwich of death. Done for. Even with the Ion Shell out, it's not going to nearly be enough, and Hyperglory team suddenly are ahead by 2, and the game has just started. I say Kion,
really
by the way.
fast
I don't even
start.
know if it's right or
You
not.
say Kion?
That's
all right. I'll just go with you, dude.
All right,
Kion.
dude, go with me.
We'll be wrong together.
And the safest thing to do is just call him by the hero name. That's the easy thing to do. Darkseer. Darkseer in your top lane now going to be stuck going against this trifecta, and he is going to get bullied back, especially since he doesn't have Surge right now. He is, yeah, get the hell back. Not even under your tower are you safe. These are very mean. Internet bullying is a real thing.
Yeah, these supports making sure that he cannot get access to that level 2. It's when Darkseer, starts to feel a bit more comfortable in his laning phase. Just gonna constantly apply the pressure. I don't even think they need both of these supports. They can just do it alone with the Skywrath. It does look like Skywrath gonna be put to the task of keeping the Darkseer at level 1.
Yep, sad day for him. Well, he can always do this. It looks like he might go to the jungle, maybe start building up some early stacks, and can always work with that for now. So that's the good thing about a Darkseer. After all, though, you do forfeit the lane and hand over nice early potential to ZSMJ's Anti-Mage. Now, with mid lane, Shadow Fiend taking on the Brewmaster. I saw this matchup not that long ago, and the Brewmaster playing at the time, I could have sworn it was Air, but hey, they did the early value point into Drunken Haze against the Shadow Fiend, which I thought was a bit peculiar because Shadow Fiend can always, dish out a raise if he really needs the CS. But, it is a 45% miss chance, so there's a little value there.
Yep. I mean, it's more annoying than anything because you're going to be farming primarily with the raises. It's definitely a hard matchup for the Panda once you start getting the souls up, and already at 11 souls at 2 minutes. Honestly, there's not a lot of heroes that can apply pressure to the new Shadow Fiend. Just because of how much damage Raze does at level 1.
You do got to say, and as I think about it, the downside is if Darkseer here needed to use that jungle, you're taking away some bits of the jungle from Shadow Fiend, which is what he loves to thrive on, so they do have to be cautious about that. But I didn't even notice. They planted out 2 sentries. There's no side camps whatsoever for this Shadow Fiend or for this Darkseer, and he probably saw that and was like, ah, crap, I got to go back to lane. So he's still level 1, very close to getting level 2. This is going to be the creep that will do it, and he is going to be very happy to have Surge
Dire's
now.
bottom tower is under attack.
Definitely going to be happy about having access to that ability. Although once this Skywrath does get the point into the Ancient Seal, there's going to be additional kill pressure.
Oh, I've received word that we were both wrong. The pronunciation is Chien. Chien. Chien.
Shin.
Chien. Chien. I'm trying to do the best I can. Oh, bottom lane, a little bit of a dive here. And it forces out the rotation, it looks like, from Kaka. And with that, Tongfu have to pull back a little bit here. But, you know, we haven't talked much about this bottom lane. Queen of Pain side by side with the Witch Doctor a bit. Her CS is at the top, 21-11, so she's definitely thriving in this lane. And if you look at Axe, he's at 3-0. So I guess they're doing a nice job holding their fort down here.
Yeah, honestly, the lane's going very evenly for both these teams, but Tongfu, I believe, should start to slowly pull ahead with the jungle Enigma, although a lot of his camps got blocked off, not something we talked about too much, only actually at level 3 at 4 minutes. I mean, there are times when you can get level 6 at 4 minutes, so HGT doing a great job warding up some of these camps from Enigma, slowing him down just a little bit. He did deward 2 of them, or actually he only dewarded 1 of them.
This is why it's hard to go this greedy, and you don't see quite as many Chens and Enchantress, though they have been recently thriving. You're susceptible to losing all you got in your jungle to work with, and then your early quotas that you'd like to match. I mean, maybe like Zai, when he was all about playing the Enigma and had the free jungle to work with, you'd see him pop out at like a 4 minute 30 seconds, he'd be level 7 ready to party. And well, for now it's going to be nerfed down quite a bit. Air is moving forward. Kaka does get the magic missile off with the wave. Air hoping for maybe 1 extra crit. Well, they are able to finish it off. Kaka gets the last hit there, but Air could pay. Not level 6 quite yet. He doesn't have the split, and with that good rotation and the convenient Eidolons nearby, they get their own return kill.
Yeah, it's still worth it for the Brewmaster. Gets the solo kill onto the Shadow Fiend, so going to get a lot of experience. Surprisingly enough, though, he is not level 6, while Shadow Fiend actually is level 6. Although I guess those 9 denies coming into play. 9 denies versus the 1 deny of the Brewmaster.
Very helpful there for
And
Enigma to get that little bit
that's
of
actually, that's so important. Like, if Shadow Fiend didn't have all 9 of these denies, the Panda would have been level 6 and most likely survived through that gank, so the small things adding up as they typically do.
That's why it's so important. You see players like Dendi stacking on those denies. Ain't no joke. And they definitely even, I want to say, enhanced it a bit, the deny factor.
Yeah, they did.
So here we go. LPC, though, could be caught out. Does get the cask off. It's actually locking him down pretty nicely here, but he is running towards Kabu. Help me, friend! Help! Kabu's like, no thanks. I'm out here, bro. They're about to take my creeps. So they walk away. Unfortunately, Witch Doctor is going to be killed. And for that, Hyper Glory team walk away with a nice little boost. 4-1 now. Their early advantage.
Under attack.
And they're just
replant
applying
that sentry. Dirty. Wow. Dirty.
They're just being so annoying to Kabu right now in this jungle. And even those, those smoke plays into the jungle, they get the Witch Doctor kill. They even, force his Eidolons to die. They kill the camp he's farming. So they're just being very, very annoying to this Enigma. And I think this is how you have to play against these greedy drafts. Enigma can't do too much, unless he has all of his Eidolons sitting there waiting to pounce.
Uh-oh, Cass goes out, and so does the Maldic. And they quickly turn back to Jinq, who has to bail out. And Kaka is going to be the one who could be in trouble. The Maldic is only level, it is level 2, and it is enough. Vengeful Spirit is going to be going down, and Witch Doctor walks away with that one. Almost level 5, so very nice turn of events right here. But they lose their Venge. 2-4 now, your new score, and it looks like Air is level 7, so he does have the split at the ready. We'll see what he wants to wait for before maybe engaging and using that first split. Oh, I missed a bunch of kills. What the hell happened on bottom lane?
Looks like there was
goes
a
down.
solo kill. He ends up killing the Witch Doctor, but paying for it with his life.
Not even a Sonic Wave. She didn't even need it. Didn't have the mana.
It was the Maledict. Looks like ended up taking him down.
Too gruesome for me to show on live television, unfortunately, so we'll miss out on that one. Enigma is now ventured into Hyper Glory Team's jungle to find a bit of farm for himself, given the fact that his camps continue to get blocked out. He is playing a dangerous game, though. Doesn't know that nearby 2 supports have already walked on through, as they are potentially maybe looking for a nice little treat in Mr. Tien.
Yeah, U9, he looks for this camp here and doesn't actually find any creeps, so They're even doing a nice job making sure that the Shadow Fiend can't farm the jungle either.
Oh,
Kabu is
see.
gonna get found.
Oh, he's like, damn it, the game is hard when you're
Dire's
Enigma.
middle tower
Oh!
is under attack.
Yeah, that was very satisfying for Icy, but very unfortunate for the Enigma. He is now stuck in a rut. Kabu has really nowhere to go at this point. Maybe you consider just finding a lane near a tower to build up some XP and just get a black hole or something.
This is one of the better
Dire's
jobs
bottom
I've seen a
tower is
team
under
do
attack.
against the Enigma in the early game. You know, usually when someone picks an Enigma, you pretty much say, well, we're going to probably be down 1,000 to 1,500 gold and experience just from this one hero,
Dire's
even if we
structures are
prioritize shutting him down
fortified.
just because of how the hero functions. But doing a great
Dire's
job this
bottom
game, making
tower
sure
is
that he
under
can't
attack.
go anywhere without getting pressured.
The nice thing, though, for Tongfu is they have that Wombo combo. So, where you don't have one
Dire's
black
bottom
hole, you hopefully
tower
have
has
4 other big
fallen.
ultimates to really get the job done. Witch Doctor is about 5.5. Enigma does have his black hole already, and of course you gotta remember Scream of Pain. Scream of Pain, and we got U9 who's got the Requiem. He actually hasn't leveled it yet, of course, but and then we need a lot more time though on your Darkseer, unfortunately, before you even consider getting the wall. Getting some invested values into your vacuum would probably be pretty optimal before you try to dish out your big ultimate.
Yeah, and I would say HGT doing a very good job right now. Tongfu actually trading farm a Quap for an anti-mage, so that's definitely going to be favoring HGT. They have to get a lot done with this farming Quap because anti-mage taking time bomb, just because his farm's gonna accelerate so much once he gets up to that Battle Fury.
And it only continues to get worse, and if Hyperglory team are really getting a lot done outside of the anti-mage, then that's a big victory for them. Or it looks like it's going to be dropped. Rune snagged up there from U9, and he'll walk himself back to the mid lane. Pushing on level 9 right now. He's going to bottle up the Invis Rune, and we'll see if he's able to find some way to make some use out of it. But top lane, that's where Tongfu are looking to get something done here. Mind you, no Death Ward quite yet, but they have the Scream on the Queen of Pain. So we'll see if maybe Chen can kind of bait something out and they can pounce at the opportunity to get a kill. Hopefully on ZSMJ. Here comes Pretty Ha. He's sweeping on through. They ping him out. And there's the jump. Uh-oh, he does get hit by the cast. And they quickly converge and try to get a hold of ZSMJ. But the silence is there. Regardless, they finish off the Skywrath Mage with the help of the Maledict. So it is a successful gank after all.
Okay, so nice rotation from Tongfu. They get one kill there for the smoke. Maybe not the kill they wanted, but trying to kill this anti-mage right now is pretty much impossible without the
Radiant's
black
middle
hole.
tower is under
If they want
attack.
that kill, they're going to have to use the black hole. Kabu finally resorting to farming up the Ancients. Probably the most... It's probably the best place for him to farm, actually, right now. Just given the situation. Like, all his camps are blocked, although the wards are starting to dwindle.
Okay,
about
this is going to be a big deal now. Air already has his Blink Dagger, and they smoked up to make use of it. Guess who also has his Blink Dagger? Icy does. So we got a Brew and an Axe with Blink Daggers before 12 minutes strikes. This is going to be a big test for Tongfu at this point. Here they go. Already, they latch on to Kabu. The jump comes out from Air. He doesn't even feel it's necessary to pull out the split. One more right hit. He gets it. All right, so they're successful with their first gank here, and they're thinking about maybe a follow-up Queen of Pain. You better be careful. You are flirting with death. Meanwhile, back in behind, the split will come out as they get a hold of LPC, and he is going to try to use that speed to get the hell out of there. The surge, though, I don't think it's going to be enough. Meanwhile, back in behind, another fight breaks out, so we got two happening here. On your left-hand side, LPC, oh, the Scream flies out, and they're able to quickly burst them down. LPC is still trying to run. There's going to be the clap. Meanwhile, back over, you can see Darkseer is also going to drop, and it is a slaughter. Meanwhile, other side, finally, it looks like U9 looks to get involved, but he is going to be too late to really contribute a whole lot. It looks like Hyperglory team are going to be able to walk away with a three-man drop, only losing their Axe.
Yeah, and Axe actually picking up his Blink Dagger now as well, so very nice for HGT. Trading 3 for 1. We'll go ahead and take a look at the fight recap. Although this does not include the Enigma kill, it's still positive for HGT.
Very nice. They had those blinks and they knew they wanted to have a party. And
I don't
unfortunately,
believe did Axe have blink for that one as well.
I don't know.
Or
I
did he
saw him
pick it up
step
after
back
he
while they were
died?
smoking. I figured he could have grabbed it at that point, but I was keeping it locked on. What was happening here? But DSMJ's very close to his Battle Fury all the meanwhile, because they've been, mind you, doing this without anti-mage. So
Yep.
that's a big thing. And when they already have their hands full with this Axe and Brew now, anti-mage is going to pop out with like 4 items and be like, "Oh, you mad? Sorry." Oh, Tongfu,
Yeah,
this is a big test.
Yeah, HGT definitely doing a good job fighting with 4 heroes, making sure that Anti-Mage has the space that he needs to farm, and even winning these fights with the 4 heroes that they have. There is another smoke rotation from Tongfu, maybe trying to take down this AM before he gets to his Battle Fury timing.
Oh, wait.
Oh, their courier's actually dead, so he can't...
Oh, okay, that makes sense then. He already has purchased the Battle Fury. It went down with the courier.
He still needs one more component. He's 100 gold off of it.
Sure it wasn't already on it. We'll have to see.
Yeah,
when it comes
the
back up.
courier has a blink stun.
Oh, he tried to blink away, but the
gonna get-
stun's going to be there. Oh, Black Hole is not going to catch out. He didn't have the mana or something. So
He has Soul Ring, though.
I don't know. Did he not use it? He didn't use it.
Well, big mistake from Kabu not casting the hole. Maybe Soul Ring was barely off cooldown. I didn't click on him right when AM blinked, but right after he had the Soul Ring available. Bit unfortunate there.
Well, they almost had an opportunity to get their own counter initiation, but Tongfu do pull away. They still have the Black Hole. They do decide to go for a second opportunity. And for Darkseer, he's starting to level up the vacuum, but that means he's got at least another couple of levels before he's even going to have a big wall to offer. And it's 15 minutes in, being level 7. It's a bit of a struggle for him right now. It looks like he's trying to throw together a hood. Meanwhile, mid lane, they're going to make the jump. Call, follow-up, Mystic Flare, and Shadowfiend's going to be in trouble. The Yules, he uses the self-Yules and lives for now, gets the ult off, and they do drop the axe. He ends up going down, and now Pretty Ha is going to be in a bit of a tussle here. Qian looks to move on forward, but the nice stun does lock him in place from up and above. So Skywrath Mage, rather, is going to end up dropping. Kaka looking to get away with this, and Air ends up being a turn for Tongfu. So a lot of things to cover on that one. Good rotation coming out from Tongfu to get involved right away. And the Yules pick up from U9. Looks like someone's getting on with the latest trend. It does help him out right there. He delays being picked off, and then he gets off a decent ultimate.
Top tower is under attack.
Yeah, the Yules was huge there. Buying him just enough time to use the self-Yules, save him just at the end, and get off that Requiem of Souls. Dealing a lot of AoE magical damage. Turning that fight for Tongfu, even though he goes down, they get 2 return kills. But all this time, we've talked about it, AM constantly farming up. Has the Battle Fury now. Also picks up a band of Elvenskin. Gonna work towards that Yasha. Maybe skipping the Vlad's. Vlad's an item that we typically see right after the Battle Fury completion. Helps you with the split push. Never have to return to base to get mana or health. Gives you a lot of sustain.
There is the hood now complete for your Darkseer. Will help out against the Skywrath Mage, of course, but they are beginning to push on, and they do end up taking down that tier 1 tower. They'll pull away with their winnings for now, but we'll see. CSMJ, he'll just keep doing his thing. I mean, there's not really much to check in with him about. And Queen of Pain, though, does have her Orchid, so Tongfu, is this going to be the time frame that they need to really get a lot done, I would imagine, before ZSMJ really becomes too much to handle?
Yeah, unfortunately, that gank in the top lane with the Enigma failed. They still have the Black Hole available to them. I would say that, like, in the mid to late game, that Tongfu will probably be okay if they can land a Black Hole onto AM. But that just puts a lot of pressure onto the Enigma at that point. And there's no really other hero to lock him down, although they do have the Orchid now on the Queen of Pain.
Which
could be pretty
now.
instrumental.
Yeah, no, it will be a big deal. These supports need to be very careful. That's pretty much a free kill onto either of them if taken advantage of. But we'll see here. Pretty Ha will be able to scout out. Again, they plant down an obs. Not even now, Kabu is going to be easy.
Radiant's
So for
bottom
him,
tower is under attack.
they're looking to move back. They smoke up,
Radiant structures are
but
fortified.
they might just miss their opportunity once more to catch
Dyer's
out
top
Hyper
tower
Glory
is
team
under
if they
attack.
are
They're
on
gonna
the way
run
out.
into
Oh, no.
a lot of
Radiant's bottom tower
heroes.
is under attack.
Okay, Icy is already committed to doing the
Dyer's
neutrals
top
here.
tower has
And we're going to have
fallen.
paths cross. Queen of Pain. Oh, walks right into a call. And a Mystic Flare. The wave's there. Return. Now the Black Hole. They've been locked pretty high. And Kaka in place. Big Death Ward combo. And the wall. They come right back. 2 for 1. The Yule's going to be there. Are we going to see the ult? Yes, we are. Oh, no. It gets canceled by the call. He is going to be forced to hold off for now. Icy on the way out. Cask, though, is going to connect. Only one bounce, but that seems to be enough. Raze is there, and it's going to be Chen who picks up that. Tongfu with those big ultimates. They work out, and we get a pause to take it all in.
A very nice fight from Tongfu, even though the Black Hole was canceled pretty fast by the Anti-Mage. That huge wall vacuum follow-up from the Darkseer, proving to do so much damage, and even the level 3 Maledict getting used on 2 or 3 heroes from HGTs, so a very nice, well-executed fight from Tongfu, ending up trading 3-4-1, and that's exactly what they need. Even Anti-Mage joining that fight, so Anti-Mage was not split pushing, farming up during that fight, and that makes a big difference. Like, had that been a 3-for-1 with Anti-Mage split pushing and farming, wouldn't have been as bad for HGT, but that was just a full 5-on-5 team fight.
So things looking better now for
Radiant's middle
Tongfu.
tower is under attack.
Can't sleep on them when they got all these big ults. But with those big ults, they have cooldowns, so we'll see if this changes the body language of Hyper Glory team at all to maybe make an advancement play. I mean, you're talking Black Hole is going to be out for well over 2 minutes. Wall was used, but it's only going to have a minute cooldown. But they actually still do have the Scream of Pain, and it's a low cooldown for Witch Doctor, so technically, I guess the other side of the coin is when you have so many ults, that means you'll have at least a couple to use in each engagement. So we'll see here if Tongfu look to kind of continue to add a bit of pressure now that they feel possibly a little bit of momentum building up for themselves. It's time to get ready to start sprinting.
Yeah, but most likely not going to be wanting to take any big team fights without the Black Hole. I think it's one of the more important team fight spells. You know, the Black Hole, I would say the Wall, and then the Death Ward, probably the 3 most important. Actually, maybe the Vacuum's more important. Like Vacuum, Hole, and Death Ward, the most important spells for Tongfu to have available in these team fights.
Roshan has fallen to the dire.
Well,
HGT.
easy Aegis.
Yeah, they do get themselves the Aegis. They have the Vlads on the Brewmaster, so that's why the Anti-Mage is not going for the Vlads. It also makes it so that he can get a faster Manta up against the Quaps Orchid, which is pretty important.
That works out pretty swell. Probably something they even considered from the get-go when throwing together this draft, so very good captain's work, as they will be able to progress down the bottom, feeling a lot more confident here. Comes down to a lot more execution factor from Tongfu to make sure they can not blow everything out on ZSMJ with his first life, but they still need another minute before that Black Hole's even going to be up at the ready. But ZSMJ already starting to poke at this tier 2 tower. Alright. We'll see though. Chen nearby. Vacuum wall and a pause coming out from U9, unfortunately.
Yep. Yeah, so just sitting ZSMJ, having him right-click the tower while he has this Aegis of Immortality. Tongfu, and like we talked about, Tongfu really don't have the ability to kill Anti-Mage very easily. Although they do have this Orchid pickup now, it's going to make it a bit easier for them to kill him without having to expend that Black Hole, but that's not going to be available for 55 seconds at this point.
Yeah, it's a problem. These Black Holes better count. At least while they're up, you always have the mind game factor of a possible Black Hole, but when you have
I don't
it down,
think
you
you'd
got nothing.
defend this as Tongfu.
No.
I think you just split push top with Quap, maybe even sending some additional heroes into the enemy jungle, farm up the enemy jungle, make it so that it's not safe for them to TP. But it looks like they might try to fight this one. Not too sure. That's an Aegis. No Black Hole available.
Okay, well, we'll see. They come on over. Kabu thinking about dropping maybe the Midnight Pulse. Oh, you better be careful. This axe will jump fast. Oh god, they're drawing the aggro actually away from the tower. And now Skywrath looks to get in on the right clicks. And ZSMJ is actually brought down pretty low. They'll have to get healed up and walk away. Now the creeps will be able to meet up once more. Tower's still low. Air actually jumps in, puts up the clap. Doesn't connect on anyone. They get the vacuum onto him and the wall, but the swap out might save him. Still silenced. Pops the wand. Vengeful Spirit gonna get blasted down though with the Sonic Wave. Tongfu almost nabbed that brew. Justified save right there from the Vengeful Spirit, and he'll be able to walk away without having to use even the split.
Yeah, nice defensive swap there from the Vengeful Spirit. A bit odd play there from Air on the Brewmaster. Blinks in with no vision of any of the heroes and completely whiffs the clap. Almost goes down there, gets orchided up by the Queen of Pain. The wall vacuum dropped, and they're forced to retreat after that point. Not too sure why they did that. They should just be using the Brewmaster at this point for counter initiation while the Anti-Mage sieges. Just was an overzealous play there from Air on the Brewmaster, but...
Oh my goodness, bottom lane. Black Hole going to be deployed. They're able to trade 1 for 1 as far as Axe and Shadow Fiend. Pretty hot now. Lots of damage on him. And he will be able to walk away with his life. Action suddenly breaking out on the bottom. It looked like they crossed paths, but it ends up being a 1 for 1 trade nonetheless. 12 to 12. We're even up as far as kills go. Net worth only a slight favorite for Tongfu. But we'll touch base with ZSMJ, who's already got his ultimate orb. He's going straight for that Manta. He has that Manta.
ZSMJ slowly pulling ahead of all of these other carries in the game, but it's pretty much what Anti-Mage does. If he's not ahead, he's probably losing, so... Has the Battle Fury Manta style now completed on the Courier. Gonna fly that to himself now. And he's probably gonna be looking towards... What do you think? Maybe a Basher next, I think would be quite good. I think Basher's good. Maybe even a BKB, or possibly a Butterfly. Those are all very good items, I think.
Don't know if a BKB would be great. Queen of Pain Scream.
Yeah, I guess
the Black Hole.
There's so much magical damage. Like
yeah.
You have the Maledict, which does magical damage. It would prevent you also from getting vacuumed. All of these little stuns wouldn't hit you. And then the Requiem, I think, is the biggest one. Like if you get hit by a full Requiem, that will just be completely devastating.
Hyperglory team pushed down mid. They get that tier 1, and they consider staying around a bit. They still have that Aegis on ZSMJ. A little bit of time. Tongfu know that, and they know that they're fishing him out there like a worm on a hook. They find the jump. Air gets 2 with the clap, pulls back, insta-silence there. I don't think they'll be able to burst him down in time. There's going to be the vacuum and the swap back to save him. He gets the split off, but oh, the dunk's going to be there. They absolutely slaughter. It's going to be Witch Doctor and Darkseer who drop first. Now the self-heals is going to immediately be taken down. Dunk doesn't connect, but it doesn't matter. Icy still gets that one. 3 men drop. ZSMJ pulls towards the tower now. And, well, that's unfortunately how it goes sometimes when you, I guess, don't have that black hole at the ready.
Yeah. No black hole available. And a very nice initiation there from Air. This time gets the clap onto 3 heroes, so even though they return and silence him, they're not able to take him down. And again, another nice swap coming out from the Vengeful Spirit to make sure that Air is able to get off the split in the end. And a nice follow-up initiation from Icy's Axe to seal that team fight, getting the double dunk onto both the... Who did he get there? I know he dunked the Shadow Fiend. I'm not sure who else he dunked. I know 3 heroes died, but...
Might have been the Witch Doctor. I don't know how he went down, but it was a bit of a clusterfuck, to be honest with you, so... Sometimes it was just blood spattered everywhere. Hyperglory team find the opportunity to open up, and when they couldn't quite finish off Air, because that's a big deal, if they can take down this brew before he splits, that'd obviously be ideal, but they couldn't quite do it. Plus you have Vengeful Spirit there constantly able to swap him back and away from trouble. And then it's just Tongfu kind of blowing a bit of abilities onto Air that don't even amount to much. So with that, Hyperglory team use their advantage. ZSMJ, it's going to be a heart. He's got the Reaver already purchased up, so going more for durability above anything else. Already sporting a very sexy 1900 HP pool.
I mean, if they can't kill him during, like we said, the black hole, it's going to be very, very difficult. Now that he has the answer for the Queen of Pain's Orchid with the Manta style, it's going to be hard to kill this AM.
It's an AM's dream, this game, also, in the same sense.
Yeah.
He survives those big ults, he turns around, pops off his ultimate. I guarantee you that
Radiant's
from those
top
ultimates
tower
of,
is
like,
under attack.
they have not much mana
I mean, like,
left.
especially like the Darkseer, a huge mana pool. All of his spells are very mana intensive. If he casts all of his spells, it's about almost 600 mana.
Yeah,
So it's a nice, juicy anti-mage target.
Black Hole, like, level 1's 275, but once it gets up pretty high, 425 there, and even like the Witch Doctor, 200 mana is pretty reasonable, and he's guaranteed to at least pop off his Maldic, constantly using the heal, and so this could be a wet dream for ZSMJ if he times out a big mana void. But
And HGT looks like they're trying to get BKBs on a lot of these heroes. Looks like Axe and the Brewmaster also working for a BKB. Actually, might have it completed. Yeah, Axe, or not Axe, but
Dire's middle
Panda
tower
has the
is under
BKB
attack.
completed. So, I mean, he could just go in now with Reckless Abandonment, get off that clap, just BKB, some right clicks into the ultimate.
yeah,
Can't
it's
just use
trouble.
the silence on him anymore.
It's
They would
it's
have to
trouble.
commit the Black Hole, yeah.
And if they commit the Black Hole, now that the swap's not necessary to save Brew, you save that swap for a certain Enigma.
Dire's top
And
tower
no
is under
BKB
attack.
even will save you from that. So,
Yep.
and even the call jump in, I don't think the Black Hole is going to really find its window. But if it does, Tongfu could come up pretty big. And it looks like Hyper Glory Team are going to be able to smoke up. They head towards the top. You already see U9 head out. Looks like Jinq is going to be the next one to say peace. And they'll have to head
Yeah,
right back towards home.
A lot of item pickups. Actually, 3 BKBs on the side of Tongfu. Quap, Shadow Fiend, and Enigma all picking up their BKBs within 30 seconds of each other. So this could be an opening for Tongfu. 3 BKBs available. The BKB, unfortunately for Enigma, not going to prevent the swap from canceling that Black Hole if Venge does decide to save it.
Yeah, it's level 2, so at least she has a little bit of range to work with on getting that swap in without having to walk into the hole itself. But this could come down to big execution. You're talking, you still got that Yules, of course, on your Shadow Fiend to help out. Queen of Pain's Orchid. Now they make the jump on the air. It's the BKB, and they have to walk on back. He does pull out the split, and ZSMJ makes a commitment on the Jinq. A wall breaks down, and the Requiem pops out. It's going to be a 1-for-1 trade, and now they duke it out. ZSMJ is going to be forced to go through the wall once more, and he gets the hell out of there. And look at U9. Starts manhandling these bears, but the Skywrath Mage is going to drop out the Mystic Flare. Self-Heals is going to save him for now. Kaka could be in trouble, and he will go down, but now comes air. He gets the pop on him. Big mana void. Oh, look at ZSMJ trying to skimmer away out of this one. Very low mana and air as well. Oh, it ends up being a 2-for-2. A lot of fireworks breaking out for that one.
Yeah, so Tongfu showing off all of their nice new BKBs. Actually, the Quap not getting the ult off, which is fairly surprising considering he has a BKB. Not too sure what happened to Quap in that fight. I mean, you can imagine they trade 2-for-2. Maybe if he gets the Sonic Wave off, it goes even better for Tongfu. But now that the ultimates are down for Tongfu, HGT might decide that this is the time to fight. Could put some pressure onto Tongfu.
ZSMJ is playing a dangerous game here. He does get silenced, but he will be able to Manta split and blink on out, creating a little bit of space. They were checking out the Roche before, and unfortunately for them, it popped up shortly thereafter. So Roche is up and at the ready. By this point, Tongfu are already all back and alive, but those ultimates will remain on cooldown. I'm talking about mostly this Black Hole, it looks like, and Requiem, I suppose. But with that, Tongfu still feeling pretty confident. They start to look to take back their jungle. Hyper Glory Team have already taken a lot of the farm, it looks like. So
I'll take
could
that.
see some slow play here, potentially a big engagement near this Roche, which LPC sees now and plants down the ward.
Yeah. So they do get that nice ward off. Could be a fight breaking out in the jungle.
Oh man, they don't know there is 2 Hyper Glory Team members right behind them. They see up and ahead what's across the river, but they don't see what's right behind. They do make the jump. Cavalry drops the big Midnight Pulse. Mind you, no Black Hole Pipe going to be Pop Kaka will end up going down. And look at this. Icy with the jumping with his axe. Requiem's going to pop out. ZSMJ though brings down the right click, gets the double with the Mana Void, and he's got to run from U9. And now on the way out. Pretty hot. Turns back. Gets the nuke off, but it's not going to be too much. Look at the anti-mage illusion. Right-click him down, and now Axe is able to jump in. Air finishes off, and now they look to focus U9. They end up taking down the Axe, but there's the job well done. ZSMJ finishes it off with a mega kill, and it ends up being a 5-for-3 trade. Now, segues towards the Roche Pit where he looks to get the Aegis, but it's all said and done. A big boost of economy right there for Hyperglory team and a lot of confidence. No black hole again means big problems.
Yeah, no black hole for Tongfu, although, you know, we've talked about it, it would most likely get instantly canceled by the bench swap. He is going to be saving it for that hole, so I'm not too sure how much of a difference it would have made in that fight, but I think the big difference in that fight compared to the one in the middle lane was just the wall. The wall in the mid lane fight was much better. The Axe did not get as clean of an initiation. Axe actually catching, I believe, 2 heroes in the call that time. And I think if Axe gets more than one person in these calls, these fights are going to be pretty easy for HGT.
Tongfu now will have the hole up, so they wait out a bit and maybe consider making it another go, but it's not going to be much easier than previous.
Don't buy any... I really don't like this decision from ZSMJ.
Do you think it's because it's only
the wall.
Shadow Fiend and the wall they're handing that over? Yeah.
Well, I just don't like it because it's the wall. Like, you're just giving the wall more damage when you go an Eagle Song. But if you go, like, you're just making your illusion so much stronger. Like, a Basher doesn't do anything for the illusion. And it's such a strong item on AM as well. I just feel like the Basher is far, far better.
That makes a better point. I was just like, well, does he really have to avoid a lot of serious right-click? I mean, I suppose from the Shadow Fiend, but yeah. It does give him a lot of stats, a lot of damage, but with that, it gets added over to the wall of Darkseer here. And we saw just in that last fight, that anti-mage illusion did some serious work. Maybe almost as much as Darkseer himself. So with that, he's going to have even more tools available for maybe a solid defense here on the side of Tongfu. But for now,
I mean,
they push top.
It looks like Darkseer is actually going for an Aghanims. Is ZSMJ's illusion is going to do more damage than ZSMJ? Just because of the item build he's going for. Like, these are all stat items. This is a perfect scenario for Darkseer.
Maybe CSMJ also was to purchase like an AC, then it would be even better. But yeah, I agree. At that point, with an Ags, they better be careful. I mean, it's more pressure onto Chien to land down that big wall, but it could be a game changer, which seeing a Darkseer pull out a game changer, it had been quite some time. So we'll see for now, though. Pressure's going to be on in the base.
Sure, this is like the one thing that the Butterfly is better for. For sieging up these towers, it's a bit better than the Basher. Basher obviously not doing any damage to buildings. Well, not as much as a Butterfly does with that extra agility, attack speed. So it's going to be a bit better in the sieges, makes ZSMJ slightly more durable.
He moves up.
It's just going to do, like, the wall is going to do so much if they can get it off onto the anti-mage.
U9 also went with his own evasion. He's going towards his own Butterfly. Not an MKB or anything to try to help out going against Air, and now the Butterfly ZSMJ. He's just going to get more evasion himself, so it could be pretty tricky for him to do any sort of right-click against this team.
Yeah, I'm not sure that... the real threat right now to HGT, I think, is the wall into this black hole combination.
There's the vacuum. Well, for now, he mantas, but the silence follows shortly thereafter. Mind you, he's still confident enough to go on in there. He has the Aegis still, but looks like another pause from U9. Hyperglory team, while they push, unfortunately, Tongfu continue to have some sort of pausing situation here. But with that, I mean, they're just going to play this slow siege game as long as they have this Aegis.
I mean, the one good thing for HGT is that while he has the Aegis, I think this Butterfly is going to end up paying off. But once the Aegis runs out, it's definitely the inferior item choice. Like, right now, they probably can't kill him without expending too many ults, and then he's just going to come back to life. But once the Aegis runs out, I think that this item build is just going to work against him. But if they're able to get a Rex, I think you can justify buying these items. But if they're unable to secure a Rax with this Aegis, I think it gives Tongfu more life than they should have. Just by like the advantage that HGT have. It's over a 10,000 gold lead when they have these, better, I would say better heroes. They have the anti-mage compared to like the Shadow Fiend. They rely on this Wombo combo, but they have the Venge to swap the Enigma.
There is going to be a lot of shit happening in these fights, and I don't have enough mouths to spit out everything that breaks down. It's absolutely crazy. So trying to fathom exactly what could happen, it's going to be very intricate, but just, yeah, like you said, there's a swap here, there's a Yule's there, you got to consider the silence that continues to come out, but then you got your Mantas, we got two Blink Boys in Air and Icy who are able to break past the wall to try to go for the back lines, lock anyone in place, even through BKB, so it's very crazy. You got a Death Ward that's probably going to find a decent platform to go off if he isn't interrupted. The wall, absolutely, it's going to be crazy. Absolutely crazy, so we'll see if it pays off to the better for Tongfu mostly, considering they invested so much in this kind of Wombo combo of a lineup.
HGT continuing the slow siege. Anti-mage constantly getting all of his life back with that hurt regen.
Radiant structures are fortified.
Blitz going to be there. Trying their best maybe to get some good luck on these stuns, but he just can still walk it off and wait. Very comfortable with that extra life.
Top tower has
And
fallen.
now he begins to unload on the Rax, and it's just unfortunately nothing they can do. It might have to be a sacrifice from now, and just hope for the best once the Aegis does go down, because HyperGlory team are not giving Tongfu any opportunities to jump on anyone behind ZSMJ.
Yeah, and this is what I was talking about. They can use the Aegis like this, just constantly siege with the anti-mage. They don't have the heroes to take him down once without expending all of these ults. And if you expend all the ults, he's just going to come right back. They can just wait out the wall, let's say, and then just go right back in.
Zen Melee. Don't know what it means, but apparently
That's
there's a Shadow Fiend bug. So, Shadow Fiend bug / tactical pause, whatever you may call it. Yeah. But it is what it is. So, I'm nervous about turning away from any moment while there's a chance this could break out. But right now you're watching Tongfu vs HyperGlory team. Our next matchup is going to be our first chance to cast Team Secret here on Beyond the Summit 2. And that will be going against apparently VMP. F4L, they spelled MVP wrong on my schedule.
Did they?
Yes. So we'll be seeing the
Terrible.
debut of the VMP, the
VMP?
valuable most people group. I'm not too sure. And then with that, we're going to bring in Mr. Jenkins. He's going to be casting with me for Vici Gaming vs. HR, eHome vs. LGD, Secret vs. Newbie. Secret will be back. And then to round out the night, it's going to be me and Blaze casting Rave vs. CDEC. It looks like it will be IG vs. Big God. And then we have a fun one to close out the night / morning. Evil Geniuses taking on Cloud9. We'll see if by then Evil Geniuses are still undefeated. That'll be pretty cool.
Should be pretty cool. When does EG play Secret?
Yeah, I know. That's the match everyone's talking about. I don't know. That might not be today, I don't think.
I think it's tomorrow.
Yeah.
I want to say it's tomorrow.
Do you think both teams will go undefeated until they meet? I guess you'd have to look at their schedule and see who they play. 2 of Secret's matches are here. Let me look
I
at
don't
them
know.
again.
Like Cloud9, even when they're playing terrible, they can
Secret will
sometimes
for
give
sure.
EG. I think Secret will for sure, but I think EG could actually lose that game to Cloud9.
That's true.
Just because Cloud9 always plays very well against EG. They match up pretty well also. Even though EG has, a very good record against Cloud9, it's still, they've been known to take games off EG, especially in like these type of situations, like when it's not an elimination series.
The best of
Cloud9
ones
tends to
too.
do very
Anything
well
can
against
happen,
EG.
man. Anything can happen. But we're going to get the go-ahead here. We'll get to round things out, hopefully, for this matchup at hand.
Although both teams, I guess both Cloud9 and EG are like completely different teams now, so.
Yeah.
And Aoi being on EG could make a bit of a difference,
secret strats that she may
Yep.
know.
Indeed.
Okay.
CSMJ continuing to siege.
Okay. Silence is on the Manta Illusion, unfortunately. Maldic there, and they try to get as much damage off as they can. Now they put the ward on the high ground to get a little bit of extra. So Air's going to make the commitment on the Chen, and Chen will have to walk away. The Cyclone's going to be able to throw him up and above while CSMJ continues to chop on down those racks. Zoning back, Air doesn't want to allow any of these Tongfu members to get too close and comfortable with landing the ultimates. Enigma moves forward, gets Cycloned up immediately. And it looks like when all's said and done, Hyper Glory Team just do their work and walk on out.
Yep. So HGT easily claiming that Rex. The Aegis has been reclaimed finally. So HGT not going to be able to do that so easily the next time. But Tongfu just cannot allow them to get the next Aegis. They don't have the damage yet to deal with the AM. They either need a Hex on Quap or more damage on the Shadow Fiend. Really, the Hex on Quap, I think, is the key item, so that they can threaten Anti-Mage's life without having to expend all of these ultimates. And without something like the Hex, it's going to be too hard, I think, to go through two Anti-Mage lives.
Yeah.
Even now picking up the BKB, this is such an ultra-defensive AM build. Very old school, not something we see too often anymore. You know, the Abyssal is highly, highly favored on Anti-Mage, especially in the Western scene.
With that, he's just going to rely on his durability to just take it to Tongfu. I guess not worry too much about what they're going to have to offer after they expend everything. And if he's able to withstand all that, he can just easily clean on up. To help with the damage, I suppose, he does have a DD for now, so we'll see. Hyper Glory Team, though, I mean, they could, if they want, really slow play this one until the next Roche is popping up and just do a bit of a rinse and repeat down the next lane, probably the bottom lane, but we'll see. AC has been also complete on Air in the meantime, so they do have a little bit of extra sieging power there. But with that, if Air's also caught in the wall, he hands over that AC to the side of Tongfu.
Yep. Though I believe if he's in Primal Split, he can't actually make an illusion of any of the splits, so not going to be able to transfer that aura if he's in the Primal Split during the wall. Looks like there is going to be a smoke attempt from Tongfu. Maybe they can catch out some of these key heroes.
All right. This is big. They need this. They really need this
really
at a
do.
time when they can catch someone out. Air's going to have the high ground vision, though. Will he see it? They're going to go right for it. Surging past, but Air jumps right over his head and goes for the clap BKB and a split pop. Tongfu need to reevaluate the situation quickly. Turns around, gets the wall. CSMJ is caught, but the swap's going to be there. So now, one ult down. They drop down the big death ward, but they immediately take care of the Witch Doctor. Now the wall going to be dropped. U9, though, already on the way out. Coming on in. Scream is going to fly. CSMJ silenced up, but he's still holding strong. Meanwhile, Pretty Ha is going to be finishing off U9. Jin Q just desperate at this point to run away from the base and dry out Hyper Glory Team, but it's not going to matter. Pretty Ha gets his own triple kill, but Hyper Glory Team, they are not going to even allow Tongfu to slip out and get an opportunity like that. That's over.
Yeah, so very nicely played by HGT, doing a really good job with this four-man squad, letting ZSMJ farm up. ZSMJ, I really like this heart pickup, making sure that he can survive the initial round of the ultimates early. And, you know, I feel like Tongfu just did not have the heroes to deal with the anti-mage. We talked about how they pretty much need the black hole to kill him, and that first gank attempt in the top lane just changed everything. Failing to kill the anti-mage there made a huge difference that would have slowed his Battle Fury timing and maybe completely changed the outlook of how this game would have happened.
Well, as it turns out, though, it's going to be Hyper Glory Team that will be able to walk away the victors. And with that, their new record is going to be bumped up a slight bit, which they certainly did need the win, from 2-5 to 3-5. And for the side of Tongfu, it looks like they are also going to need a bit of a boost. They will now drop from 2-5 to 2-6. All right, so that's going to wrap things up for heat number 2. We have another matchup coming up here, again, once with myself and F4L. It's going to be Team Secret, their debut here on the Beyond the Summit 2. They'll be taking on MVP Phoenix. And if you like what you heard, catch me on my Twitter at KotLGuy, and of course support my great co-caster F4L at F4L Dota. More Dota itself going to be coming up in just a moment.